My family and I grew up very poor. From when I was old enough to legally work, I, 19, have had to take on multiple jobs while balancing school to help with my family and my younger sister. Growing up, I never had a lot, and whatever money I earned I would spend on my sister, 16, and family. When I was 18 and had just been accepted into college, my dad's business that he'd worked on for the past couple of years finally took off. This also meant that my sister could now have a normal high school experience without worrying about money. While I was in college, I wasn't in contact with my sister that much since I was so busy with schoolwork. However, from our calls and her social media, I could tell she had changed completely and was involved with some bad people. She would post videos on her Snapchat of her getting drunk, smoking, driving while most likely drunk, etc. I tried reaching out to her, but she would mostly deny the claims and told me to mind my own business. At some point, she justified her actions using the argument, "This is what the cool kids do now, not everyone was a nerd like you in high school." One of my high school friends who also has a brother in the same grade reached out to me and said that she heard that my sister was seeing a sketchy guy from another school. Apparently he was expelled from my sister's high school for very bad stuff. I asked my sister about this and she denied it. Last week I got a phone call from my mom who was sobbing. She tells me that my sister is pregnant. I was so shocked that I could not speak. Then I was angry. When I was her age and even younger, I gave her everything, and so did my parents, so she could have all the opportunities her peers had. Since my dad's business became lucrative, they've given her every opportunity to succeed, any extracurricular/sport she wants, academic tutoring, school activities, etc. I never got any of those things. It angered me so much that she took all of this for granted and screwed up her life. The father? Her delinquent boyfriend who got expelled. She blows up my phone but I don't respond. She then sends me a series of long text messages asking if she can crash at my place. She also asked me if I could make her an appointment to see a doctor. Lastly, she asked if it would be okay if her boyfriend comes and stays over sometimes. I shut her down. I told her that you dug this hole for yourself. If you allowed yourself to become pregnant, then you should be able to deal with the consequences. Also, I'm currently sharing a small apartment with 2 roommates. She begged some more and I denied her. In the past few days, she still be texting me and calling me nonstop saying that she has nowhere to go and has been living in her boyfriend's car. I haven't responded to a single message of hers, but I feel my resolve wavering a bit. I fully don't support her, but maybe I'm being an idiot? Not the idiot, she still has an option for a roof over her head and she chooses to stick it out with her loser boyfriend in his car? But your parents should not disown their daughter for this, it will only push her closer to her loser boyfriend. You should also be there for her as emotional support. Don't let her stay with you if you get in trouble with roommate/landlord, but let her know it will be okay. She made a mistake, be an example and someone she can lean on. You can only give someone so much before they have to grow up and stand on their own 2 feet. She made adult choices and now she gets to live with adult consequences. It isn't as if the risks of unprotected love are a secret. Besides, most apartment leads include a clause that you can't have people who aren't on the lease come and live there for any extended period of time. If you let your sister come and stay, you'd be putting yourself and your roommates at risk for eviction. Not only that, but it wouldn't be fair to them if you let someone come live with you who obviously isn't going to contribute a share of the rent. Everyone's the idiot here. You don't disown your teenage daughter or sister because she got pregnant. You support her, at least emotionally, and, hopefully, help her make the right choice. She doesn't need to get yelled at and criticized, she needs people who will act like mature adults guiding her still. The only thing what you're doing is going to achieve is push her out of your lives and screw up her life even more. She's a teenager, for God's sake. And yes, she's an idiot too. You're not the idiot for not agreeing to house her, but for everything else. Update. I stated that my sister was still living in the car of her delinquent boyfriend and refusing to come home because my parents had disowned her. At this point, I would like to clarify that my family and I are Chinese and it is common in Chinese culture to disown your kids when they do something that largely disappoints or embarrasses you. However, this is not a permanent disownment like many of you have brought up. As long as my sister apologizes sincerely and they can see that she is actively trying to fix her mistake and become better, they will take her back as their daughter. Another clarification would be for those people who assumed that my dad kept us poor since he was stubborn and wanted to work on his business and not get a real job. His business was a passion project on the side. My dad was working 50 hours a week at 2 jobs. Alrighty, on to what ultimately happened with my sister. Despite the chain of advice I sent her, she ignored me still. I regularly checked in with her over the next week to see how she was, and she gave me one-word replies until they ultimately stopped. I was growing concerned after she didn't pick up her cell, but then I received a call from my parents. According to my mom, my sister had returned home crying and begging for forgiveness. She had a serious talk with my parents where she apologized for her behavior and promised to make amends. My mom was very tearful as well. They scheduled a doctor's appointment for her immediately, and I believe she went in the next day. I had no idea what made her finally break and return home, so I texted her. First, I told her I was proud of her for taking action and being mature, and asked if anything happened between her and her boyfriend. At first she was pretty stubborn and kept insisting that she was just over living in a car, but after a while she finally admitted that her boyfriend had requested that she start selling for him if she wanted to keep living in his car and eating his food that he was sneaking her. Lamau. What a freaking idiot. Glad my sister finally returned to her senses. She told me she broke it off with him, and I sincerely hope that's the truth. This past Monday, she got the pills to successfully terminate her pregnancy. According to my mom, she was begging that they do as ASAP, which was really a breath of relief for all of us because we were worried she might want to keep it. The future seems pretty bright right now for her. My parents decided to pull her out of the public school and send her to a progressive private school that some of my close friends also went to. It's a fantastic school and I think it'd be great for her. She's officially starting next Monday. I'm going to visit her and my family this weekend and see how she's doing. Awesome. Not often do I hear such a nice ending to a story of familial disaster. While it's an ending, it is a real beginning and second chance for sis. You clearly understand it's going to take time and work in her part. The beautiful thing is your thoughtfulness and empathy for her in suggestioning the school counseling service. Hope she engages. It will make all the difference in sustaining her resolve to change and her ability to lead a productive and satisfying life. I will cut right to the chase. 31 and I have 3 kids from my previous relationship. He passed away 4 years ago. Met my now fiancé 2 years ago and he has been great, but issues sparked up recently in the safety department of things. He got a 30-40 pound small breed dog last year from his mother for Christmas. That in itself wasn't a deal-breaking issue despite none of us wanting a dog. The issue is he refuses to go out with me or the kids anymore without bringing the dog, where he proceeds to drive with her on his lap. If this dog is not in his lap, she starts whining like absolute crazy and he just gives in and lets her sit in his lap. He has to lean backwards just so she isn't touching the steering wheel. There have been multiple times I have told him to stop doing this, because at this point he is putting all of our lives in danger. He will stop for a few weeks or so and then go right back to it. So yesterday I absolutely had enough. I begged him to keep the dog home, but he refused because he wanted to stop off at the park and let the kids and the dog run off energy. On the way home, like 6 miles from home, the dog climbs on his lap. He allows it. I immediately say that he needs to stop. He tells me I'm overthinking and need to live a little, that he isn't hurting anyone and that he's got this. At one point snapping and saying we are almost freaking home, it's literally not a big deal. So I told him to pull over and ended up taking me and my children out of the car to walk the rest of the way. At this point it was only roughly 2 miles away. He stops a few times and tells us to get back in and I refused because that dog was still on his lap. When we get home, after stopping with my kids for ice cream along the way, he goes up one side of me and down the other, stating I'm petty and being controlling and whatever else. At this point I told him that not only would me and my kids not be doing any family outings with him anymore providing he brings his dog, but we will also not be going anywhere with him unless I'm the one driving, which he absolutely hates because I don't drive fast enough, meaning I go the speed limit, whereas he goes 60+ miles per hour. I no longer feel I trust him with me or my children's safety when it comes to driving. He has not spoken to me since, and my best friend is saying my fiancé is right and that I'm being a controlling idiot because it's not hurting anything but my feelings. Am I the idiot? Dogs, any animals, should be secured in a moving vehicle. If humans need to wear seatbelts, then animals need restraints, as they pose the same risk to themselves and others in a crash as people do. Also, having to adjust his seating position to accommodate the dog is not safe, nor is having the distraction of a dog free to do as they please in a moving vehicle. And it's illegal in some states and will still get him in trouble for distracted driving in the others, so even if he's coming at it from an entirely selfish perspective, and it sounds like he probably would, he is risking his license. Not the idiot. And screw your friend. They're right that it's not hurting anyone, but they forgot to add the word, yet as for you being controlling? Yeah, nah. The BF is being controlling, not letting you drive, refusing to change his behavior at the risk of serious injury to you and or your children, and won't go out as a family without the dog. These are all huge marinara flags. Take from this what you will, but he doesn't respect you and your completely rational boundaries. Not the idiot. Your fiancé is showing his weird obsession with an animal. Dogs need to be trained. You don't give in because they're whiny, means more than the safety of your children. In no way, shape, or form, is it safe to drive with an animal on your lap. Dogs are often jittery and scared easily. It could jump or thrash suddenly without warning. No reason whatsoever to be doing that. Completely ridiculous. You need to seriously reevaluate this relationship before you consider marrying him. I, 27, can't help but feel like an idiot about the situation, and my wife, 23, has been calling me an idiot the whole week. Meanwhile, our close family are taking my side and friends are split. I for one don't see what I can do. For context, we live in Europe. The issue is the following. My in-laws have the amount of money they give my wife each month and she wants me to make up the difference out of pocket. For it to make sense, I have to explain our finances. I am a medical resident, my pay is crap frankly. But it doesn't matter, because I have real estate properties and make a decent amount of passive income from rent. My wife does not work, because she is still in law school and her time is full between that and taking care of our son, 2 years. So here is the situation. 20% of my income goes straight into our savings. This I will not budge on come hell or high water. About 40-60% goes into household expenses. This includes the nanny/housekeeper, food, gas, electricity, and my wife's school expenses. The percentage varies each month of course, but lately due to the war all these expenses have risen, so it's always on the higher side. The rest of the money is split between my wife and I, but not evenly, and here is why. Before we even got married, my wife had an agreement with her parents. As long as she stayed in law school and kept her grades high, she would receive minimum wage from them, so that she didn't have to work and could focus on school. When we got married, I promised to give her half of what her parents gave her each month. This way our monthly pocket change would be roughly the same. This agreement has worked for the past 4 years. Unfortunately, this midterms her grades dropped. They're not terrible, mind you, but her parents have high standards, so until she can get her grades back up in February, they said they'd half her monthly pay. I kept the amount I give her the same. Essentially, she receives minimum wage now. My wife has asked me to increase how much I give her to make up the difference. I refused, and I still refuse. My income didn't magically increase in a month. I pointed out that she had an agreement with her parents and me. That her decrease in her money is a result of her actions. I upheld my side of the bargain. I told her she will just have to deal with a little less personal money for a couple of months until she can get her grades back up. I'm 100% certain she can do this. She maintained this isn't fair and that as her husband I should take care of her. She said I could just lower how much I keep to myself or raise the rent since I already rent under the market price. I told her I am not raising rent and leaving people homeless in these uncertain times, and that if I give her more from my own side I'd almost have nothing left for myself each month. I really wish I could give her more, I do, but I can't magically make more money, and I think I deserve a little for myself as well. Her receiving minimum wage without working is enough. So am I the idiot? When I read the title, I was going to say you are the idiot, until I read the whole post. You are definitely not the idiot. Your wife, not only is a spoiled and entitled, she is the idiot. She has a nanny, she has parents who pay her to go to school, she has support from you, and that is still not enough? Nope. Your wife needs to get over herself. It sounds like she never wanted for having less pocket money for a little while means what? Getting her nails done less frequently? One less visit or the spa? She sounds positively spoiled. Do not change anything. You are saving for your future, your children, your retirement, etc. If she doesn't like it, tell her to pound sand. I thought you would be the idiot, but after reading you're not the idiot. She asked you to raise the rent on your residence to give her more pocket change because her parents are giving her less money due to her low grades. She can piss off. She sounds like a spoiled rich person in so many ways. She should consider herself lucky that she does not have to work through school and can take care of herself and y'all's baby. All the bills are paid, she has food, she is just not able to go shopping much? Or eat out much? She can always get a job or get better grades if she is so miserable. All I see from this whole story is the man gets to control the financial decisions for the whole family. I make 3 times what my husband makes, I'm in healthcare, he has a disability that keeps him from being able to work full time, yet we sit down like adults and discuss our money. Yes. It's our money. All of the posts regarding couples and their constant disagreements regarding financial decisions makes me wonder why they even got together in the first place. It's all about what's mine.